Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear Mr. Minister Mali, Mr. Chadej, Mr. Miletic, representatives of MOF, businesses, local governments and media, dear members and partners of NALED who are today with us, and all of you who are actually viewing this event online, it's my pleasure to welcome you and to the round table E-invoices for a more competitive economy. This roundtable is organized organized by MOF together with NALED in cooperation with SARTEC program. My name is Ivan Lončarević. I'm the Vice President of the Fair Competition Alliance from NALED. Our idea is to initiate the dialogue of all stakeholders about the strengths and advantages of the e-invoicing system, and also to start in timely fashion the changes that are going to happen in the next year. As regards to today's agenda, after the introductory remarks by our key speakers and our special guest from European Union, we'll have an opportunity to learn about the demo version of the invoicing system and hear about the details of the new law and the next steps that are going to be taken by the public sector and the businesses. Then we will have questions and answers. So I would like to ask to remind all of you to nominate your questions via our platform. So of course, anyone who's present today with us here today can ask a question. So what will mean this for our businesses, for our economy in general, when we join this advanced system, and what are the plans of the MOF in terms of improving business environment? We'll hear more from the Minister of Finance, Mr. Siniša Mali. Please. Thank you very much. Dear Mr. Lončarević, Mr. Čadej, dear businessmen, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Serbia, it's a great pleasure to talk to you in this roundtable. So we have two very important initiatives of the MOF and the Serbian government. Both initiatives have been developed together. Our businesses, our businessmen, based on their advices and suggestions on how can we improve the efficiency, reduce costs, and do everything that's needed for the competitiveness of our economy. These two initiatives are the fiscalization system, and the second initiative, and that's the topic of today's roundtable, is the introduction of e-invoices. Just a few sentences about fiscalization, which is a very important initiative for us. New law on fiscalization has been already adopted. Next week, we will have a technical guide in terms of the engineering or software solutions. The system should in real time enable the tax office to do a much better control of fiscal cash registers, and continue on work on mitigating or reducing a shadow economy and improving the business operations of our taxpayers. I would like to use this opportunity to highlight the following, having in mind that we have so many businessmen here today. Introduction of new fiscal cash registers might happen. Why I'm saying this, because will take place, but mainly we will just upgrade the existing cash registers. So the introduction of the system will be free of charge. So in the budget, the national budget, we have allocated monies for the new fiscal cash register. So the idea is to fit out our businesses without any additional cost, and in terms of enabling even better combat against shadow economy. About invoices, then I would say the invoices are the fiscalization invoices are left and right hand of a body. This is in line with with the directives of the European Union. This is in line with increasing the competitiveness of our economy, improving the efficiency of our businesses. So just imagine our economy without paper invoices. Just imagine that according to the new law. The new law on invoices, we will have electronic invoices. We will talk about that today. Also, very important to say that the benefits of introduction of invoices are manifold. Better legal security, much better efficiency, business efficiency. Less time will be spent on keeping all the invoices. Instead of the paper, we will be using electronic digital invoices. The whole system in the end means that Serbia is moving forward let alone then the benefits for the accountants, which will be great. Which will be much easier for them to work through in the e-invoices system than in the paper-based system. Serbia is showing this way how much it is devoted to the structural reforms, how much, despite the coronavirus pandemics, how much we did to save lives, how much we did to save our economy. You know how responsibly we approach that, how we wanted to support our businesses. So even though corona pandemic is not over, we are continuing with the structural reforms which will in the long term improve the competitiveness of our economy. Benefits of invoicing system are manifold. As I said, what's the dynamics of the introduction? This is a systemic law, meaning that it changes the way of operations in our economy. We defined 3 deadlines that are key. So the first deadline is January 1st, 2022. By then, public sector entities will be responsible for being capable of exchanging e-invoices. Also, private sector entities who want to receive e-invoices from the public sector. The next deadline is the July 1st, 2020, when we expect the private sector entities are able to receive and keep e-invoices from other private and public entities. And then the end of next year, when we expect all private sector entities are enabled to work with invoices and send their invoices to both public and private sector entities. So 2 things are important. Electronic invoices system is applied in the VAT system. We expect that other business entities that are not part of VAT system will accept the system, having in mind the benefits, but it's not mandatory for them. I need not to speak about that, about the benefits of the introduction of the system, and the greatest benefit is that the registration for VAT registration would be automatic if input and output e-invoices are harmonized. So the VAT refunds will be reimbursements refunds will be conducted the same date. So we will avoid that difficult need where you compare the input and output invoices. So if we have this overlapped, there will be this will be no mistake environment. The system. Most importantly, the system is free of charge. We don't want to hear, we would hear critiques saying that some things are charged. So if the system is free of charge, if somebody wants to use the information intermediaries or IT intermediaries, that's up to them. But as regards to the what's in the hands of the government, the system is free of charge. We are not introducing it not only for improving the competitiveness, but also we are showing that actually we are sending a strong signal that Serbia is still firmly on the path of improving the competitiveness of the businesses and firmly on the digitalization path. The entire procedure is in line with the law on information security, and it's in line with the EU directives. So we are improving legal security. We are actually creating safety. You will have a system where everything will be transparent. We are taking a big step ahead, a strong step ahead. So whether you want to accept it or not, we are strongly moving forward. With all other measures that we have taken to save our economy, with a major allocation in our budget, we will have 6% and more as a result of that of GDP growth. It probably will be among the leading economies of Europe. This is not a small success. This is not by accident. These are the structural reforms, especially this one that related to the e-invoices. This will help us move forward with strong steps ahead. We will improve the attractiveness of our economy. Thanks to all who participate in the preparation of this law. Thanks to all who are participating in the preparation of all procedures and methodologies. As we promised, by the end of June, we will have all bylaws adopted and publicized. As regards to the implementation of this law, I would like to invite all businesses from Serbia to deliberate, to learn about the system in details, to accept the system, and to send a signal to anyone who's actually the leader in digitalization and improving the competitiveness of our economy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mali, and thank you for your words. Thank you for the support for this law. In addition to saving money, there's another important element, and that's the combating shadow economy. Using the most contemporary a digital solution. Further digitalization of e-invoicing system will improve the competitiveness of our economy. I would like to invite the president of the Serbian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Marko Čadeš, to take the floor. Dear businessman, this minister, representatives of businesses, it's a great pleasure to be here. It's a great day for Serbian businesses. We waited for this day for so long. I would like to express my gratitude to the minister for his persistence and in terms of cooperation with businesses. And in the end, we had the introduction of this important system. I think that we are not aware how important this that we have today in front of us. Too interactive. This interactive approach that we applied shows how companies were interested in all of this. Savings are huge. Minister mentioned about the benefits for the budget and the benefits for the beneficiaries. But just one business chain here is, I'm not sure which one, but they have 2.5 million paper documents, 16,000 invoices are saved, each year or kept each year. So savings are huge. But by not printing out documents, including the other costs such as warehousing, and so on. That's a huge step. Another thing Minister mentioned that there is no quarterly report which is not full of the problem of VAT, of the lateness in VAT refund. All quarterly reports include that item. We have very often, the blame is on the businesses because they miss some documentation. But this is a systemic solution, which is allowing everybody to get the VAT refined immediately. You know how important this is for the businesses. Because you will have this money in your account, every day. Again, very, very important. Thank you for that. Also, another thing that was really a correct approach from the Ministry of Finance is that we managed to agree on the, step-by-step introduction. People can argue this and that, but it's important that we have enough time to adapt and prepare for this type of operations. Also, what we need to do in future is to work together. Ministry showed that it wants to hear what businesses want to say, and they want to work together with businesses on legal solutions, which includes defining new laws, also on defining some issues that will streamline the work. So that's why we want to hear from you, because you work every day down there in the field and you have the necessary know-how. So involving businesses in development of bylaws is very important for us. We want, of course, to educate businesses in terms of application of these novelties, and this is going to be one of my priorities of my organization. I would like to invite businesses to join us and participate actively with the idea to have the best possible bylaws. Thanks to MOF for allowing us to have a constant communication with their people in charge of e-invoices so that we can, eliminate all the dilemmas we have. Will be a great pleasure for me to hear today from the companies. I would like to hear about the experiences from other countries. So for business people, it will be very useful to hear how the e-invoices are going to be applied, what are the next steps in terms of its creation and development. Big day for all of us, and thank you again. Thank you again. Thank you, Mr. Čadež. Digitalization and reduction of the red tape are key priorities of NALED and the Fair Competition Alliance. Digitalization of businesses is supported by StarTech project, which is implemented by Philip Morris and NALED. So it's my great pleasure to give floor to my colleague Ivan Miletić as a director of Philip Morris Corporation cooperative operations here in Serbia. Thank you, Mr. Lončarević, Mr. Mali, Mr. Čadež, dear partners. It's my great pleasure to be here with you today. And as Mr. Mali said, I would like I'm glad to be here to support this reform as the representative of the company which is striving to transformation. We mentioned this many times, so we would like to greet this transformation once again. We think it's very good, and we are basing our transformation on innovations, digitalization. Therefore, the e-invoices system is something that we observe as a very important, serious step. We know how complex this is and how challenging this is, but we also know how many benefits have been brought to this society by from the digitalization that was implemented by the government. As any other reform, many consultations have been conducted about that. This was one of NALED's priorities, so that's why we are supporting this, and we are implementing this program. We have been implementing this program together with the MOF, with the government for the last 6 years, and we will continue to support these kind of reforms, full steam ahead. positive benefits, as Mr. Chaudhry said. We will learn about them very soon. Businesses, the whole society will feel the benefits, and the economy will develop in a healthy environment. For us in the Fair Competition Alliance within NALED. For us, this is all very important because this is reducing the unfair competition directly. This is a new project for Serbia, but there are examples from other countries, from the region or abroad, that have already put this system in operations. In Croatia, operational costs in companies have been reduced for around 350 million euros on annual basis. The archiving, the preparation has been definitely streamlined and simplified. That our partners from NELT, as you mentioned, will have their system much more simplified. The costs of preparation of invoices have been reduced by 95%, from 30 minutes to only 3 minutes for preparation of invoices, which is very, very important for any operation. As Minister Mali said, in addition to these kind of savings, we will also expect that this will improve our environment, so we'll reduce paper load, and we will cut less trees. We are glad that implementation of this project has overlapped with the launching of the Philip Morris project StarTech, which is implemented by NALED together with the government of Serbia. We are very proud of this project because this project has been launched in the year of pandemics. Support for innovations and legal transformations through grants for the domestic businesses is actually intended for a new, modern way of operations, in creating laboratory of innovative policies and supporting exactly these kind of reforms like this one. We want to support the public and private sector to adapt to the system. That's why NALED and MOF will organize a series of roundtables, actually trainings with IT sectors, accountants, local governments. So we'll collect suggestions from the field, which will be required for the preparation of bylaws. We are now very sure that the system is very much applicable in practice. That's why I would like to invite all representatives of economy to support this process, because we need your inputs. In the end, thank you for your courage. Thank you to Minister Mali and his team. Very important reform, and I'm sure that we will enjoy the fruits of this effort in the coming years.
Thank you, and I would like to thank our speakers in this introductory part, and we are so impatient to see what will happen on the 1st of January and the 1st July of 2022 and the 1st January of 2023 as the period when we will essentially say goodbye to paper bills and fully accept e-invoicing. So paper bills will go into the past, and we would like to hear about the experience from other countries. In EU countries, this practice adds transparency and legal security, and it is a great honor for me to announce Mr. Markus Laube, the co-president and co-chair of the EESPA, who will contact us live from Frankfurt. So, dobar dan, gospodine Laube. Kako ste?
Yes, thank you for your kind words and the short introduction. I will show you some slides.
Us today, just wanted to ask you one short question. Since we burst in the middle of ISPA General Assembly today, we would just like to know what is the hot topic at the event today and in the world of e-invoicing.
Well, the topic of today and the world of e-invoicing in general is really about tax compliance, which is driving the markets around the world and really change the economy in those different countries. And that's what I'm happy to present a little bit, where those developments lead to, and what's the current status of e-invoicing across the world.
Thank you. And we are really keen to hear about your presentation for us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Right. So I won't talk a lot about eSPI. It's the European Association of E-invoicing Service Providers. We're currently managing billions of e-invoices across Europe, therefore representing a major part of the supply industry. More importantly, telling you about the current status of e-invoicing worldwide. And as you can see, there are about 530 billion invoices globally, both paper and electronic. And so far, only about 10% have been moved and changed to electronic and paperless processes, mainly in the B2B and B2G segment. That's why we expect exponential growth of those volumes in the next couple of years, depending on the setup you have in the specific country. And well, if you look at the map, you can see that the leaders for e-invoicing are mainly those countries that started initiatives like yourselves in South America, for example, but also in countries like Italy across the EU. And well, as you already figured out, I guess, Serbia is mentioned as an average country so far on this specific map. But I already want to congratulate you to this important day and this initiative. And there's a high probability that this initiative means that you will be mentioned as a leader on this map in the years ahead. And as I said, the driver for those developments globally is really what we call the VAT gap. Globally, we talk about 500 billion euro in the shadow economy that don't reach the tax authorities. And that's the main motivation why the EU started a couple of years ago to initiate a couple of guidelines starting to force the public sector mainly to receive, but partly also to send electronic invoices, which was the starting point. After a couple of years, there was a development to also implement additional requirements for tax reporting. Countries like Hungary, like Spain implemented such solutions. Countries like Greece, for example, will follow. But what happens in most countries is that they really set up clearance models like yourself to establish a national platform where all invoices need to be processed, which really helps to save money or to create additional VAT returns. Best example probably recently is Italy, where they experienced about an additional 5 billion euro VAT return from last year. So this is one important trend. Another one which shows the challenges also for the companies is that the ongoing digitalization means increasing complexity, first of all, because now when also your suppliers and buyers, customers start with digitalization, you need to cope with those different requirements that they have. And maybe even more importantly, it's not only about e-invoicing. Companies tend to look at the whole financial supply chain, including orders, dispatch advices, etc. So there is an increasing complexity, and your initiative probably will help to reduce with the standards implement that complexity at least partly. And there are also a lot of saving potential for the companies. Looking at sending a paper bill compared to electronic, the saving is about €10 per invoice, both inbound and outbound. And that's not the only saving you have. I also want to mention that many companies benefit from additional discount that they can achieve because the electronic process is so much quicker, and you can use those discounts. But the development is even further based on electronic invoices. Many companies also start to implement electronic payment processes and even supply chain finance, which allow them additional savings and additional benefits that they can use. So to cope with those challenges that companies have, eSpot wants to give some guidance and also work on additional standards. And one initiative we started at eSpot is the Global Interoperability Framework, which really should help to link the companies and the different networks that are around. So within eSpot, we have the connection between the different service providers, about 100. But we also integrated PEPAL, which is the European network, but also being active beyond Europe already to connect the public sector. There's also Connect Once, which is an e-procurement association, and BPC that are currently implementing a solution in the United States for the whole country. And this ideally will help companies to interchange invoices and other documents globally based on a defined standard and reduce complexity. What we also see that there are different trends in the VAT digitization around the world. So whereas across Europe, it's more or less about continuous reporting, also including public procurement, for example. But in Asia, it's more about owning the network and tend to solve all the processes with a central platform for the company itself. And with our expertise, we try to support national bodies, companies to set up the best-in-class processes to really help the economy to grow and to benefit most, and therefore developed a set of documents where we are glad to support and discuss further on. And finally, what we would like to maybe give as an advice or share some experience is that those systems work best where it's not only about the benefits to increase tax, but also to help companies to use the supply chain efficiency. So really try to involve the private sector, including solution providers with the experience to do the integration with companies and to help them benefit from electronic processes, which go much more beyond the pure e-invoicing. Specifically with a focus on SMEs, and that's also a focus that EU currently has. There are a couple of initiatives going on to specifically support SME sector to participate in that development and to reduce complexity and really integrate them into those upcoming systems. So this is really what I wanted to share with you. I wish you good luck with the initiative, and we are always ready to support at eSpar if wanted. Thanks a lot.
Albert, you mentioned 5 billion euros difference in Italy. That's a quite tangible difference after the introduction of the e-invoicing. I just have a question based on your experience. What is the critical factor for successful introduction of e-invoicing in a country? Where you have seen countries fail in the introduction?
Well, I think the best examples are where you were really able to make it mandatory for companies to exchange invoices electronically and set the standards needed. So I think the initiative you started is exactly the right way. But on the other hand, you need to give room also for the private industry, for service providers to help them onboard all those companies to the central platforms, because they are the ones that really help to include even the smallest companies to participate in that environment.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time today and your inputs. Next time we hear, I hope e-invoicing service will be successfully functioning here in Serbia, and that from the group of countries with average development, we will shift to the leaders on your map. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you. Good luck.
So we have heard about the situation in the European Union, and what Mr. Laube also mentioned are not only the benefits for the country, for income, for a better VAT control, but also benefits for the economy, because the economy is additionally digitized and can actually direct its and manage its supply chains more successfully. So, today we will hear about the demo version of e-invoices, and I would like to greet Mrs. Slavica Sajčić, the State Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, and Mr. Dragan Demirovic, Assistant Minister and the Head of the Department for Fiscal System. As far as the demonstration of the demo version is concerned, we will go through it step by step, through the whole procedure of sending an e-voice, and we will see that this is not difficult, and we will hear about that from Sonia Talian, the Assistant Minister for Digitization, Nenad Vlaketic, Director of the Central Fiduciary Unit, and Vuk Delibašić, the advisor of the minister. I would like to greet you on behalf of our colleagues, and we will show you how the system of e-invoices works, and we will show you a short video clip on how to log in, and then we will live demonstrate the sending and receiving of an invoice. Application to or login to the system of e-invoices. Users can log in to the system of e-invoicing with a qualified electronic certificate or two-factor authentication. Log in to the system through a qualified electronic certificate. For a user to log in through a qualified electronic certificate, they need to choose the option Login. Then the user will be directed to the portal for electronic identification. It is necessary for the user to put this identification into the system and choose option application through the qualified certificate, and then you will be directed to the system of e-invoices, and now your login was successful. Log into the system of e-invoices through two-factor authentication. For a user to log in through this system, they need to choose the option Login. After that, the user will be directed to the portal for e-identification. On the portal for e-identification, the user will choose the option Login through a mobile phone authentication. And then you are supposed to enter your username, which is your email address that you have registered on the portal for e-identification. When the user enters their email address, they are supposed to click on the login button, and then they are supposed to open the Consent ID application on their mobile phone, enter a PIN created during the installation of this application on their mobile phone. And then on the screen of your mobile phone, you will have two options like refuse or accept or authorize. After you choose the option, you will be applied to the system of e-invoices. The user was successfully applied through two-factor authentication. System of e-invoices. Opening of an account in the system of e-invoices. After the user applies to the system of e-invoices for the first time, they will be directed to the first screen. The account can be created only by an authorized person from a company. And then they can authorize other people for work on its account. First, they are supposed to choose the type of a company and enter the registration number of the company or the number of budget funding users if they belong to the state budget. If a person is not authorized for this activity, the system will inform them that they don't have a right to open an account in the e-invoicing system. If the user enters the proper data, the system will, after the check of data, will direct them to the first screen of the authorized account in the system of e-invoices. And this is how the user account is ready, created and ready for use. After we have seen this video, my colleagues and I will tell you about how the invoice is sent and how it is received. My colleague Vuk will be part of the public sector, and Nenad will act as the representative of the private sector. We have applied through two-factor authentication, and we needed only 3 seconds to finish this very simple process. And as you can see, I would like to first introduce you to the system. In the top right corner, we have a company that we work for, and we can add accountants who work for several companies, and they can add a new company for which they will send and receive invoices, and we can choose a language if we want to work in the Cyrillic Latin letter, in the Serbian or the English language. And in the left corner, we have sales, where we have output invoices, we have a sector with input invoices, and here you had them on the central register. We connected them with the central register, and it works in the same way. And here we have the basic details of a company where we can see our data and the possibility to enter a logo of the company and personalize our invoices. So cancel, here we were supposed to cancel, and we have a standard setting. We can change prefixes or suffixes. I put /2021 here, and those are some basic settings. And now I will start creating a new invoice. After I have chosen to create a new invoice, the form opened, and initially, as you saw, we have a counter, and the system calculates the number of your invoice, which you can set up. Then we have the date, the date, incoming date and outgoing date of the invoice. We have a buyers. I will type in Nano test and the system automatically gives me all data related to the company Nano test. Then I'm supposed to add new items, the name, the unit of measurement, for example, square meter, the price, for example, 1,000 euros, and the VAT amount. And I can also put the discount here, let it be like 5%. And then I can send the invoice. And I'm sending it to my colleague. And now you can see my dashboard. Good afternoon, everyone. And here it says a new invoice. I will click on it, and on the right we can see the layout of this invoice, and on the left we have details, and I can approve this invoice here on this button by clicking on this button, and Sonia will also see that this invoice was approved, and everything is resolved in a few seconds, as you can see very quickly.
First, here on my screen, you see that I got a notification of approval. I can view it, and you can do some personalization here as well. This is the view. Now let's send an invoice to a public sector. So create new invoice. Then in the context, we'll select school and a note here. If you created contacts in Cyrillics, then you will have to search in Cyrillics. If you created contacts in Latin, then you'll have to search in Latin. Or in English, of course. So I typed in only Szkola or school, but you will have a menu to select the client number. Let's change the number of the invoice. Since this is the public sector, so send it to CRF. As of January 1st, a CRF is not going to be accessible to the public sector, but it's going to be in the back office. So everything you put in the public sector, it will automatically go to back office, actually to CRF, the Central Register of Invoices. Now, since this is the school, let's put in chalk as the subject. So the price, 5 dinars, VAT 20%. So I'll add a new item, code, board, 3 new school boards, 1,500 a year price, VAT 20%. So after we have populated all items, and we clicked it, send to CRF if we're talking about the public sector, and we can attach a document, I don't know, a contract, some kind of supporting documentation. Okay, for this opportunity, I have some kind of PDF document so that you can see how's this working. So I attached it here. And click send invoice. Oh, something's missing. Oh, the unit measure is missing. So the system, so we did all checks. So with a asterisk you have the mandatory items. So I sent it. So my colleague Wook, he's the representative of the school. It will show up there. So on my screen, you'll see how this shows up. So the invoice has been received. So I logged into my account. It's connected to my mobile phone as well. So via my mobile phone, I received a notification on the reception of the invoice. So the status is active. So I just double click it. It goes up. I seen that I have attached the PDF document on the right side. You see the invoice. Down there are some functionalities related to how you're going to download the invoice. I don't know, in the PDF format or any other required format. So you can download it in PDF, and then you can open both documents. Okay, so I can open the invoice, or then I can send it, or by attaching it, I can print out whatever. I will reject it. I'm not going to approve it, but I will reject it. But when you reject invoice, you can. When you're approving, you can comment if you want, but if you're rejecting, you have to put a comment. For example, you can say the quantity of chalk within this invoice does not match the actual order. When you finish the comment, just confirm with OK. And with the comment, the invoice is sent back to the sender as rejected. Now I go to the procurement, and I can see that the status changed. It's rejected. Up there where all statuses are present, you can select various types of statuses. So for rejected, I can see all invoices that have been that have been rejected have that kind of status, and I think that the sender will have a notification on rejection, as you can see here on my screen. So I opened the invoice that has been rejected to see the reason, and I see the comment: the quantity of the chalk does not match the order. So we can. I react on this by either sending the new invoice, or with a new quantity, and that would be all. I would like to mention here the following: the ministry has created this web page. We will have a key information related to the e-invoicing system. We will actually present information related to trainings. You will have guidelines attached there. You will have an opportunity to apply for trainings. So just please come to our webpage, efactura.gov.rs. That would be all. Thank you, Sonia, Lena. Thank you, Vuk. I would like to say the following, that EID can be done at the counters of local governments in Serbia. This is a joint project by the IT office and NALED. So just, with an ID card and a mobile phone, the electronic ID will be automatically, prepared for you. I would like to express my gratitude to all speakers, and I'm sure that the presentation have, instigated new questions. So, I will be glad to open this part of today's roundtable, questions and answers. So, all of you who are here, please ask your questions. We also received some questions from those who are watching us online. We will try to answer as many questions as possible, and to having in mind that this is the first round table, we'll have also we'll have many opportunities to answer any further questions. We heard from the representatives of MOF that there's a separate section on the webpage of the Ministry of Finance that's going to be focused only on e-invoices, so all materials will be posted there. So anyone from who's with us today, if you have a question, please go forward. Okay, we have a question. Good afternoon, everyone. Ivan Novakovic. I'm Deputy Mayor of Požega. One technical question. Has it been planned? Is it planned? Will companies be an opportunity to automatically send their invoices? Companies. Have you been thinking about using a unified database of barcodes, so that a single database of barcodes where you have companies that have been defined, so that we can actually keep track of the goods that are moving around? So, firstly, let me answer the second question related to barcodes and unified code system. We have been discussing this in the fiscalization system. Everybody sees that this is needed, and we are working on it. We're working on it. Okay. As regards to your first question, APIs will be available during July. In addition to trainings, Ministry will provide technical support to the companies. So we will try to help you join the system through API. You will be able to connect to the system through API, and in the test environment, you will see how the platform is working. We will have workshops, we will have trainings, and you will have the opportunity to ask a series of questions. All questions will be answered. Any other question from the audience here in the room? Okay. Just a brief question. Maybe I misunderstood something. I'm Pabjej. I'm the president of the Association of Computer Companies from Novi Sad. As regards to your e-invoice creation presentation. When you select a buyer, so you're creating an invoice, and you select the buyer, can you connect this software to the database of the APR, business registry agency, so that automatically you would be populating the data of the APR entries, meaning all name, text number, and everything would be automatically populated. It's a nice idea. We will definitely upgrade the system in Dances, but what we are checking, actually, just to let you know, we are checking whether the PIP, the tax ID number, is actually active. Has it been stopped or for any moment declined? So with this idea, we can definitely upgrade the system. Let me add a few things. When Sonia says this will be in the upcoming period, it's not clear when now. Okay, Sonia, just do this. This makes a lot of sense. It's a double control in the end, in terms of the accuracy of data. So if both, so we are checking data of the BRA, and we are checking the data of the invoicing system. So idea was not just to implement the law, but the idea was also to work on these systems. So together with you, we will upgrade, we will improve, we will add, we will change. In the workshops, in the trainings, we will learn. And you will have all support from the Ministry of Finance, all people who are with us, people from the Chamber of Commerce. The idea is for the system to work, to get benefits. Just let me finish with one more sentence. This system, we can connect several databases. We are doing the cross control of several systems, so we want to see what's updated, what's not updated. So we are using several databases that are sharing information, and this brings benefits when they share information. Thank you, Mr. Pop, for your suggestion. Thank you. And another question. Good afternoon, everyone. Dragan Arnisavljevic from Gomex Company. I would like to welcome this initiative. We expect a lot of benefits in future from this initiative. My question is in a way connected to the comment made by the Minister Mali. We assume there is a possibility to connect the e-invoicing system with the different ERP systems, because a lot of apps that are primary are generating electronic invoicing. So some kind of system of electronic invoices is already existent in our practice. So it's important that we know that there's something has been planned in regards to the envisaged as regard to certain interface, so that we can connect, so that all ERP providers could adapt to this kind of linking. This is something that's very badly necessary. Also, we need these links because of the records of goods. We've seen the test environment, but there's also the goods part of this, or the goods part, dimension related to goods, in terms of taking some goods out of inventory. So this has to be taken into consideration. And one question, which is one leitmotif of all of this, all laws on digitalization, electronic business operations, and the law on e-archives. My question is, by the presented deadlines, or will the judicial system adapt, or will is their practice, is it going to be adapted? Are they actually keeping up with these tectonic, major changes? Because we think that the courts should start to accept all of these very beneficial and useful initiatives from the Ministry of Finance, because Onya answers to her ERP question says this is a positive answer. I need to tell you that this system will be connected to the to the public procurement portal. So all who are connected to the public procurement, who are connected to the public procurement system. So, the number of the invoice will be, actually populated from the public procurement portal. So as regards databases have been connected so that the process can be sped up. And definitely we were thinking about that when we were creating the system. As I said, during July, we will have presented the APIs for both input and output systems. So any ARP will be could connect. Various companies worked on different ERPs, and so there's not a single one. Each ERP system has a capability to be connected through IP with some minor adjustments. So it has been already said that the test environment will start in July 2021. Can you please, for the wider audience, tell you what's the role of the environment? This was one of the most common questions that was asked in the public discussion. It's very important to say that information mediator is no obligation for no one, for public or private sector. According to law, information mediator or they will be approved by MOF. We will regulate the conditions later on. Of course, information security is top priority. The information mediator is going to be doing everything related to invoicing, safety, issuing, and so on, so on, so on. And each entity, legal entity, who appoints information mediator, will sign a contract with a client to make a distinction between the mediator in terms of public and private sector. We need to say that public sector will not be allowed to keep its data with the information mediator, but private will have this option. Also, the information mediator is some kind of has originated in the EU, and we will develop this new segment of information technology market and competition there. So this segment has been also taken into account when we created the law. I think we have another question here in the audience, from the audience. Thank you. My name is Aleksandar Vasic from the accounting group of the Serbian Chamber of Commerce. Will it be connected to the VAT register or the VAT payers register? Since we are issuing invoices, will there be a control of whether the client is a VAT payer? So I got the nod over there. So the answer is yes. Also, I saw that you've put in data on VAT rate and discount or rebate. You know that there are separate various we have various types of discounts or rebates for various on various grounds. There are various rates related to that, various legally prescribed exemptions. Have you thought about that, or can you think about coding in terms of tax coding? We talked about the tax code for a within VAT register. So also data population. The idea is when somebody gets this, that they can use data for their own system. And one thing that came to my mind just now, the authorizations, use authorizations, can this be connected to authorizations that are already in the tax office? Whether for the tax proxies or the actual entity. because the invoice is creating the VAT obligation. So there's a question: who's creating the invoice and who's going to take over the risk of paying the VAT for all VAT issued? Because some can be issued with errors. Because this is a tax this can create some disputes in tax procedure. As I said, we're connected to BRA, to the Treasury, through the tax office. Public funds user is in the Treasury, and the tax identification number is also checked whether it's active or inactive. And just after I create the e-invoice, within the services in the back office, the TAN is checked. As regards to proxies, I was not talking about the tax number, but the active status of VAT payer. And, by that, let me just finish. And by this, the VAT status of the payer is checked. Depending on the type of the company, proxies are checked either in the BRA or for other entities in the tax office. So we have envisaged that if there are some VAT exemptions that are attached, then in the note part, you will have to put in the reference number that's related to the exemption. For example, for international donations, where you have tax VAT exemption. So this has been also, introduced into the system, and you can put this into the invoice. That would be all. Thank you. Thank you.
We have one more question which has arrived yesterday through a Slido application. Will there be a connection between the e-invoicing system and the new model of fiscalization? As far as the techniques is concerned, there will be a connection. The two systems will communicate through service, and that is the cashless payment. When you go to a restaurant and you ask for cashless payment, you will get the receipt with the registration number of the company added to it, and we will connect for example, if companies fill up their cars with petrol, when they have the contract on paying in advance or after, that this will all be received through the service, so that at the end of the month you can compare what you have received and to which card. And those are the connections that we have intended at the technical level of these two systems. I would like to thank Mrs. Talian and all the representatives of the Ministry of Finance. This is the conclusion, the ending of our roundtable. I would like to thank Mr. Mali and his team for being present today. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Čadež, Mr. Miltic, and all of you who were with us today. I was really glad to have moderated this meeting. Thank you a lot, and goodbye.
It's been so lonely without